What is up, everybody? Nick Fiore of Furious Nation right here on YouTube.com. I am Nick Fiore. This is the review video, and yes, you see it in the title, the review video for Raw this past Monday and then SmackDown last night. It is Saturday, July 27th of 2024. A beautiful day out on this lovely Saturday morning so far. It's about 10:50 a.m., 10 minutes to 11. I know Adam Carr was supposed to be here for this video today to cover Raw and SmackDown for this week for today's video, but I don't know what's happening. I don't know if his internet is down or what's going on with him. Adam Carl, hope he's all right, and hopefully his internet's not too bad right now, but trying to video call him, but apparently he's not here, so it looks like I'm going solo for today. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw from this past Monday on July the 23rd and the 22nd, this past Monday with Raw, the July 22nd. And we're also going to talk about, that show first from Raw this past Monday, and then we're going to talk about that. So we're going to talk about that and then talk about SmackDown from last night. Apparently, last night's SmackDown was taped last week and aired last night because apparently this weekend WWE is in Tokyo and Japan. So hence the reason why SmackDown last week was taped and wasn't live. But next week, SmackDown will be live with SmackDown next week from Cleveland the night before SummerSlam 2024 in Cleveland at Cleveland Brown Stadium. But first, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw from this past Monday and stuff. Apparently, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre all set for SummerSlam with Seth Rollins as a special guest referee, a la Bret Hart and Undertaker from SummerSlam 1997 with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee, the very match that sparked the beginning of the WWE Attitude Era, SummerSlam 1997 for the WWE Championship, where Shawn Michaels cost The Undertaker the WWE title at SummerSlam when he accidentally hit Undertaker in the head with the steel chair. And Bret Hart walked out of SummerSlam that year with the title. Now reliving that now with CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre. I'm loving where it's going. And apparently it's going to be also Raw next week, a referee officiating or something like that with Seth Rollins, with Punk and McIntyre next week. That should be pretty good stuff. We got some really good build with Gunther and Damian Priest. They had a nice brawl on Monday, building up more hype for their match at SummerSlam. I'm actually excited for that match. They built more excitement for the match, and some people are like, "Oh, it's not really sold on that." But I think after the brawl with the two on Monday, I think it probably changed a lot of people's mind. And I'm actually looking forward to Gunther and Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. Then they got Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio and Rhea licking Dominic. Though I think Dominic is costing Rhea the women's world title at SummerSlam. That's my prediction. They had Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov in a number one contendership match for Sami Zayn's Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov had a very good match. Very good opening match for the show. Braun Breaker's going to SummerSlam. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But a lot happened on Raw on Monday night, but we're going to talk about that momentarily. But before we do so, I want you to hit the like on this video. It'll be greatly appreciated. And also, just looked something at my phone. I thought I saw something on my phone. It's apparently YouTube notification. Nothing really important. But anyways, as I was saying, hit the like on the video and as well subscribe to Furious Nation. It would be greatly appreciated, you guys. Hit the bell for all notifications while you're at it as well when you do subscribe to Furious Nation. And also Follow me on X, FioreNeck579. That is my X account. Follow me on X. Follow me on Facebook. That's Nicholas Fiore 31 over on Facebook. Link in the description. Instagram at Nicholas Fiore 2014, and on TikTok. Yes, I do have TikTok. I've not posted anything on TikTok yet, though I do have a TikTok account. When I will use that account, I am not sure. Eventually, but you can also follow me on TikTok if you'd want as well. And my TikTok is at Furious Nation over on TikTok. So don't be afraid to follow me on TikTok, X, Instagram, and Facebook. So we are going to talk Raw right now. When we're done talking about Raw, we'll have a little breather and such, and then we'll get on into SmackDown. For the SmackDown portion, probably won't be much because though it was taped last night, or no, not taped last night, taped last week and aired last night on Fox. But we're going to get started with the Raw portion of the video here, ladies and gentlemen. So Monday Night Raw, 22nd, 2024. The show starts off with the 2024 King of the Ring, Gunther. He opens the show. Gunther gets drowned with booze when he's trying to talk, and every time he tries to speak on the microphone, he gets booze and booze. So Gunther finally speaks, and he says he meant every word he said last week to Damian Priest. He says Damian Priest and everyone here in this arena are nothing but a bunch of bums. Crowd boos. He says the only thing that matters to him is the prestige of this sport and the World Heavyweight Championship. He says, think about it. Why did they send Gunther out here first? It's because everyone in the back knows that Damian Priest cannot cut it. He says Priest is a wannabe. Gunther then calls Damian Priest and all of the Gunther then calls Damian Priest and all of the Judgment Day street trash. Gunther says he knows Priest is here. He says he wants to make him a generous offer. So he says Priest should come to the ring and hand Gunther the championship. And then he says Priest can go back to the trailer park after that. The world champion Damian Priest then power walks down to the ring. Priest gets in the ring and decks Gunther, and Gunther and Damian Priest brawl and go at it, head to head. So they're starting to brawl. Security guard is trying to break them up, and they get beat down as well. And if Adam Carl were here we're here right now, he would say at best, the security guards are the biggest jobbers in wrestling, and they are. Every time there's a brawl and the security guards get involved, the security guards always, it's a rare time they don't get their ass beat. But these security guards, this is no different. They got their ass handed to them, man. I think there was one spot where I think one of them got chokeslam over the top rope and onto a bunch of security guards on the outside. So that was that. So referees and the security guards and officials trying to break up this fight. It failed. Priest then drops Gunther with a super kick. Gunther then rolls out of the ring. Then Priest beats up some of the security guards and toss one of them clear over the top rope onto everyone else, like I just mentioned. Then this leads to Priest and Gunther fighting some more up the ramp and near the stage. And they continue to brawl. And then they go to the commercial break. Then once they come back from break, Priest and Gunther are still fighting and still brawling, but around backstage and near the parking garage. So they're still going at it. And then eventually leads to Gunther and Damian Priest both finally being separated. So, like I said moments ago, or a few minutes ago, I know some people were sold on Seth Rollins and Gunther and Damian Priest for SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship. But after this Brawl Monday, I think it probably changed a lot of people's minds, and I think the excitement for Gunther and Damian Priest at SummerSlam has gone up. So I'm actually looking forward to Gunther and Damian Priest. And I've said it here on this channel before. I'll say it again. And so is Adam Carl. Damian Priest is world champion. Damian Priest has proven a lot of people wrong with his world title reign, and he's really, really proven a lot of doubters wrong. And he's really more so coming into his own. And even though he is going to lose to Gunther, Damian Priest's title reign has not been bad whatsoever. He's actually been a decent world heavyweight champion, and I know he's going to have the fight of his life against Gunther. And I think with this build, with these two going into SummerSlam in Cleveland, I really honestly can sit here and say that Gunther is bringing the best out of Damian Priest, and that just goes to show you how great Gunther is. Anybody he's in the ring with, he makes them look that much better off for it. And the example of that is Damian Priest. He's been presented very well in this feud with Gunther so far, and I like it. So this was a very nice chaotic brawl to open up the show, which set the tone for the rest of the evening. Though I do think Gunther wins the title at SummerSlam. The build for Priest and Gunther has been nice so far. It's been solid, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think on that. And then we go to the opening match of Monday Night Raw this past Monday. Intercontinental Championship #1 contender match. Ilya Dragunov, the Mad Dragon, versus Braun Breaker. So this was a banger. This was hard hitting. This was intense. Both guys looked very good going into this match, and after the match. I liked the finish of the match. Both guys were protected. Both guys are some of the future pieces of this company for years and years to come. Dragunov looked great. Breaker looked great. There were some very nice spots in this match. There was one spot where both guys are on the top rope in a superplex position where looked like Braun Breaker was setting up for a superplex, but instead he lifts Dragunov and suplexes him gut first into the top of the LED ring post. Breaker does the Dragunov, and that looked fucking brutal. That looked fucking nasty, and the way Dragunov sold it, man. There's one thing about Ilya Dragunov. He's a great wrestler. Great wrestler. And a really, really good seller, man. Every time he sells an offense, like he sells it like death, like he just makes it look that much good. He really does. And he took a really good beating with that suplex on the LED ring post from Braun Breaker. So that was some brutal stuff. Like it. Really, really like it, though. We then have both men like ground and pound, strike after strike. So, yes, it was a gourd buster, not a suplex. It was a gourd buster on the ring post to Dragunov. We then have another nice spot in this match. We have Breaker running into a boot from Dragunov, and Dragunov hitting the Constantine special, near fall, face wash by Ilya. Ilya then sets up for a powerbomb, but the ribs give out from the gourd buster on the ring post from earlier in the match. So that was a factor in that spot. Dragunov, however, then blessed Breaker with a short powerbomb. We then get Dragunov falling on top of Breaker. Breaker kicks out. And then there was the finish of this match. Let me see. And then we also get super Dragunov. Dragunov pops up to his feet, and it's one of his finishers, the H-bomb. Dragunov, however, then immediately favors his ribs. He's still too hurt in the match. He can't quickly make the cover. Breaker, smart Braun Breaker then rolls out to the apron on the outside. Dragunov then falls with some vicious chops to Breaker on the apron. And then Braun Breaker's on the outside. Ilya's on the apron trying to go for his H-bomb again. But in midair on the outside, Braun Breaker breaks him in half with the spear. And that was that was actually the turning point of the match. So after then Breakker hits the spear on the outside in midair, referee then goes to check on Ilya, and the referee decides to stop the match as Ilya could not continue. And Anthony Pagani, one of my best friends, if not my best friend, Anthony Pagani from Goshen, New York, says, "Good morning." Good morning there, Anthony. Hope you're doing well and such. But yes, Ilya Dragunov, and just reading the chat a little bit. But yes, the referee, after Ilya takes the vicious spear from Breakker on the outside, referee Daphne goes to check on Ilya, but referee stops the match. Ilya couldn't continue, so Bron Breakker wins this match via referee stoppage. Ilya wasn't pinned. Ilya wasn't made to submit or tap out. So not only they protected Bron Breakker, but they protected Ilya Dragunov. I actually like the finish, what they did there. I like this a lot. I like the fact they protected both guys and neither guys ate a pinfall. So I'm not mad at all that they did this finish, a referee stoppage to end this match for the number one contendership for Sammy's IC title at SummerSlam. I like this a lot. It makes Bron Breakker look even more like a beast. Ilya looks strong in defeat. He loses absolutely nothing. And Ilya was never beaten. The referee just stopped the match. I don't mind this finish at all. Very happy that they did this finish here. And Bron Breakker wins and is going to SummerSlam. So we're going to get Sami Zayn and Bron Breakker for the Intercontinental Championship once again in Cleveland, Ohio at SummerSlam, the second biggest show of the year at Cleveland Brown Stadium, where I think Bron Breakker this time is winning the Intercontinental title. It's his time. You just get a sense when you're watching like WWE or wrestling or any wrestling company in general, you just know when it's someone's time. SummerSlam, Intercontinental Championship with Bron Breakker, it's time. He's ready. I mean, I know Bron Breakker lost in Toronto at Money in the Bank, and people are like, "Oh, Bron Breakker's buried. He should have won." I don't think that's the man that's buried. He's still breaking people in half. He broke Ilya Dragunov in half. Bron Breakker even speared Sami Zayn at the end of Raw this past Monday. So I don't think that's a man that's buried. And he's still running fast and breaking people in half with spears as well. So I don't think that looks like a guy that's buried by any means. So Breakker really lost nothing at Money in the Bank. And I think Money in the Bank was a little too soon. But SummerSlam, that's the time to pull the trigger on Bron Breakker as the Intercontinental Champion. That's the time to do that. SummerSlam, Bron Breakker's ready. And Sami Zayn has done a really decent job with the IC title. But come SummerSlam, I think a Steiner wins the Intercontinental title. I think that's one of my bold predictions for SummerSlam, which next week on Furious Nation, it looks like I will be doing Friday night. Now, next weekend I do work with my job outside of here, this YouTube channel. So it looks like sometime next week, before next weekend, there should be on this channel some SummerSlam 2024 preview and predictions. So look out for that. And one of my predictions is going to be Bron Breakker becoming the new Intercontinental Champion at SummerSlam, the biggest party of the summer. So really good match with the opening match of Raw, Bron Breakker, Ilya Dragunov. Both guys look great. Dragunov looked strong in defeat. He didn't lose a thing. Breakker continuing to kill it. Breakker continuing to look strong as well. And we get Bron Breakker and Sami Zayn again at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental title. And I think we're going to do Intercontinental Champion. And this was some good stuff. Bron Breakker continues to be one of the great highlights of Monday Night Raw. So then after this, so then also post match, we then get medical staff checking in on Ilya Dragunov as well. And then we go to backstage with Rhea Ripley, Mummy, Rhea Ripley talking to the Judgment Day. We get Dominic Mysterio bringing up how Jey Uso wanted Rhea Ripley's number when Rhea said yeet to Jey Uso. Finn Balor then gets involved in this conversation, and he says that the Judgment Day should handle Jey Uso permanently. Rhea Ripley's like, whoa, guys, like, what does Jey have to do with this? Just leave him alone. And then Rhea tries to walk. And then after this, Rhea walks away. There's an ad here. Rhea says they should leave Jey alone, but after she then walks away, Finn Balor then says he knows what needs to be done. So I wonder what that would mean, though I think it probably means that Rhea's getting kicked out of Judgment Day coming out of SummerSlam. Rhea Ripley is challenging Liv Morgan at SummerSlam in Cleveland for the women's world title. And I said it here in the channel with Adam Carl. Both of us have said it here in the channel. And I'm going to say it again. I don't think Liv Morgan loses that women's world title at SummerSlam. I don't think it makes sense for Liv to lose that championship at SummerSlam. There's no reason for that to happen. I think Rhea is losing to Liv, but the Judgment Day, and at least Dominic Mysterio, and the Judgment. So I think Dominic and the Judgment Day are going to screw Rhea at SummerSlam, and they're going to help Liv Morgan retain. Even though we saw Rhea Ripley licking Dominic on Monday, I think it's Dominic, and Dominic was like to Liv, I don't want you, get out, and I don't like you, and yada yada yada. I think it's all a setup. I think Dominic and Liv this is all a setup by Dominic and Liv to Rhea at come SummerSlam. I really think that. And I think it literally is all a setup just to trick Rhea at SummerSlam. And I think Rhea's getting kicked out of the Judgment Day coming out of SummerSlam, where I think they continue the story after that. It's not going to be a one and done. It won't. I think Liv retains at SummerSlam. Then we get Rhea and Liv for the women's world title again, going into October in Atlanta at Bad Blood. And I think that's where Rhea Ripley wins back the championship. And like I said here in the channel with Adam Carl, when Rhea got injured in April a few months ago, Rhea said when she was in that sling, when she comes back, she's coming back for blood. And they have Bad Blood in Atlanta, Georgia this October 5th. It just makes sense. Makes all the sense in the world. So I think Liv's retaining at SummerSlam. And Rhea continues the chase, and then Rhea finally takes the title back and takes it off Liv Morgan at Bad Blood on October 5th. I think that's where they're going. I think that's the direction they're going for as far as Liv Morgan or Rhea Ripley is concerned, which I do not mind because Liv Morgan has actually been doing well as Women's World Champion as of late. In fact, I think her title reign as of late has been better than Bayley's, and I love Bayley, but Bayley hasn't had much story on SmackDown as Women's Champion coming out of WrestleMania with a win over Io Sky at WrestleMania 40. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think on that. But we then go to the next part of the show. Backstage with Drew McIntyre shaking hands with Adam Pearce, which led to Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins with their segment going into the show. We then get not a six-woman tag, one-on-one match. Well, they're going to be in a six-woman tag on Raw next week because Raw next week and then the week after that, apparently Raw the next couple weeks is going to be on the Sci-Fi channel, which I believe is because with USA Network with the Olympics and such. So, and even NXT this Tuesday, and then the Tuesday on NXT after. I think it's the NXT after SummerSlam. Raw and NXT the next couple weeks, this upcoming next week and then the week after that, they will be on the Sci-Fi channel with NXT Great American Bash Week 1, Week 2, this Tuesday, and then the Tuesday after that, and then Raw this Monday, and then the Raw after SummerSlam. Those shows will, for the next couple weeks, will be on Sci-Fi, the former ECW home. The ECW, the WWE brand ECW, it sucked. I know. But Lyra Valkyria with Katana Chance and Kaden Carter versus Sonya Deville with Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. We had Sonya Deville win this by doing the devil's advocate on Lyra after there was a brawl with Katana and Kaden, and brawling on the outside with Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. They brawl. Valkyria gets involved, takes them out with a dropkick through the ropes. Sonya Deville comes from behind, hits the devil's advocate from behind on Lyra for the win. Adam Carl and I talked about this not the other day. What are they doing with Lyra Valkyria, man? Like, she was called up from NXT. Then she was in the Queen of the Ring tournament, made it to the finals, lost in the finals to Nia Jax at King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia back in May. And after that, she's just been in this feud with like Damage Control, and then apparently this new Raw female trio apparently on Raw now with Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and Sonya Deville that they're trying to get over. I'm just not feeling it right now. I'm just not feeling it at all with these three. Shayna should be on her own. Zoe should be on her own with a mouthpiece because Zoe Stark, good wrestler she is, but she can't cut a promo. And Sonya Deville is decent. She should be on her own too. But Lyra Valkyria, ever since coming out of King and Queen of the Ring, they have not been doing anything with Lyra. Nothing with her. And they have her in this feud with Sonya, Zoe, and Shayna. And I think Lyra deserves better. She needs to be in, like, give her some better stories on Monday Night Raw. Like, I know Becky Lynch is out and she's a free agent spending time with her kid at home. So I think she signs a new deal with WWE by the end of this year, and she's not going anywhere. She's going to stay with WWE and be pretty much a lifer in WWE at this point. And Rhea just came back. I understand you don't want to put Lyra in a women's world title match right now, and it's way too soon for that. But, geez, man, give her something meaningful to do right now. This is not it. I just don't care for Sonya, Shayna, and Zoe as a trio. I'm not feeling it at all. I just don't care. And there's no story with this. Zero. I think at this point, they need to introduce a women's mid-card title. At least for Raw and then for SmackDown. Apparently, women's world title for Raw and another for SmackDown. It at least gives Lyra something to do because right now she's not doing shit. And it sucks because she's one of the best female wrestlers they have on the roster. This one beat Becky Lynch for the NXT Women's title last October at NXT Halloween Havoc. This one wrestled Roxanne Perez in Philadelphia. Stand and deliver. Very good match. And I was there live for that show. WrestleMania 40 weekend in Philadelphia. And right now they're doing bare minimum with her. And it's a shame. It really is a shame. They do better. Do better. It's sad what they're doing with her. And I know it's like 8 minutes the match, but it didn't mean a damn thing. There's not much story going into the women's division right now on Raw. Same thing with SmackDown. There's with Liv Morgan, but I feel like they're just playing it safe right now. But at this point, I hope they introduce the women's mid-card title. They really need something for these ladies to do meaningful on this show. They really do. Because right now, it's hard to care. It's hard to care, and I love Lyra Valkyria. And I really like Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and Sonya Deville. But Sonya, Zoe, and Shayna should not be a trio. They need to be by themselves separately. The trio is just not working. And I know it's been a few weeks since they formed, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it at all. And I'm sure you guys feel the same way. And Lyra Valkyria, give her something better to do. This shit is not it. Do fucking better. This match meant nothing. And apparently Raw next week, one of the matches for Raw next week, is going to be it's going to be a 6-woman tag on one of the matches for Raw next week. The Raw Go Home show for SummerSlam next week on Monday Night Raw. Sonya Deville, Zoe Stark, and Shayna Baszler versus Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, and Lyra Valkyria. Raw 6-woman tag next week. Who cares? Who cares? They need to do better. And they need to do better with Lyra Valkyria and these rest of these ladies on this show. We then get after this a White 6 video with Nikki Cross. The unveiling of Abby the Witch, unveiling as Nikki Cross. Nice stuff here with this part. Liking what they're doing with the White 6 as well. Said this here in the channel, Adam and I, past couple weeks. It's been some really good stuff with the White 6 in their presentation. So then we go to one of, if not the biggest segment on the show, and a big talking point, CM Punk. He comes down to the ring, and he announces that he is finally medically cleared for competition. He then proceeds to call out Drew McIntyre, and he says he wants to fight. Drew McIntyre's music hits. He walks down to the stage and says he's been waiting for this fight, but he says tonight's not the night. And he says this fight is bigger than Green Bay, where Raw was at Monday. Drew then proceeds to taunt CM Punk with the bracelet where it says AJ and Larry with CM Punk's wife, with the meaning of AJ Lee, CM Punk's wife, AJ Brooks, and then Larry, CM Punk's dog. And Larry's a handsome dog, by the way. I need to throw that out there. Larry is a handsome pooch. Okay? All right? Just saying. Just saying. Adam Pearce then comes out to get involved in this situation, and he says that Drew McIntyre has been reinstated. Not only has CM Punk been cleared, but Drew McIntyre has also been lifted from his suspension, and he's been reinstated. And he says, so Punk, because of this, at SummerSlam, it'll be CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. And then he says, if either one of those two touch each other before their match at SummerSlam, then their match at SummerSlam will be canceled, and the match would be off. And that the instigator would be suspended. And then Adam Pearce says that we also have a problem and we need to have a referee. Out comes Seth Rollins. His music hits. And another fucking ad. So Pearce brings out Seth Rollins by saying that he has a referee problem. Seth Rollins then reveals that for the Punk and McIntyre match at SummerSlam, that Seth Rollins himself is going to be, for that match at SummerSlam, the special guest referee. So there you have it. And then they announced for Raw next week as well, a referee officiating, with Seth Rollins officiating Punk and Drew, like basically going over the rule stuff and monitoring both guys to make sure they don't touch each other before their match at SummerSlam. With Seth Rollins next week on Raw. I like this a lot, and a great segment. And really good stuff here. And Seth Rollins is on SummerSlam. He's not being left off, though he's not wrestling. He's a referee, but he's still on the show. And with Seth Rollins, he was world champion for nearly a year. You're not going to have him off the SummerSlam card. Punk and Drew is set for SummerSlam. Punk's first match for Punk back in the ring for the first time since the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble, where he injured his shoulder. Now he's back in competition. He's going to get Drew McIntyre finally at SummerSlam. Seth Rollins is the referee. This is like, and I could see the comparisons with this compared to Undertaker, Seth Rollins. Undertaker and Bret Hart for the WWE Championship or WWF Championship. In HBK, Shawn Michaels served as a special guest referee at SummerSlam in 1997, where Undertaker went into that show as champion and Bret walked out as champion. and Shawn had to call it down the middle in that match. Otherwise, he could not compete in the U.S. again. Or if Bret Hart didn't walk out of SummerSlam that year with the title, that he wouldn't compete in the U.S. ever again. And it led to Bret Hart. It was Shawn Michaels with the steel chair. Bret Hart legit spat in Shawn Michaels' face. Shawn Michaels tried to hit the chair in the head of Bret Hart. Bret Hart ducked. Undertaker got the chair shot in the head from Michaels instead. Bret went for the cover on Undertaker. Shawn Michaels 1, 2, and then he didn't want to count the 3, but he had to. Otherwise, Shawn Michaels couldn't compete in the U.S. again. And Shawn Michaels cost the Undertaker the WWF Championship at that year's SummerSlam in '97, with Bret walking out of that year's SummerSlam with the championship. And that was the beginning, and that match sparked the beginning of the WWE Attitude Era, and it led to Shawn Michaels and Undertaker at Bad Blood 1997, and the first ever Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood in '97 in St. Louis, which then also led to one of the greatest debuts in WWE history, the debut of the Big Red Machine Kane, where he came out with Paul Bearer, and Vince McMahon was like, "That's gotta be Kane! That's gotta be Kane!" And Kane walked out with Paul Bearer. Then Kane ripped the cell door off the hinges. He took out the referee, threw him in the corner, got in the ring, stepped over the top rope, went face to face with his brother, The Undertaker, tombstone pile driver his own brother, The Undertaker, in the ring, costing him the match and allowing Shawn Michaels to beat The Undertaker inside the cell and with their first ever Hell in a Cell, which then led to Kane and Undertaker at WrestleMania 14 in 1998 in Boston, and the rest was history. But and also with this as well, with this match set for SummerSlam as well, I think this has Drew winning this match. They may do the angle where Seth accidentally costs one of the match at SummerSlam. I don't know if they go that route. They might. But in the end, I think Drew wins this match at SummerSlam. Then I think Drew and Punk get each other again at Bash in Berlin in Germany, August 31st. Whoever doesn't win at SummerSlam gets to win back in Berlin, Germany. And then the third encounter between Punk and McIntyre, I think they then have their third encounter and their blow-off match, the rubber match, and they have their third and final encounter at Bad Blood, the 27th anniversary of Bad Blood, 1997 of that show. 27-year anniversary, this October 5th in Atlanta, Georgia, at Bad Blood. Oh, and it looks like we have Adam Carl here. Oh.
Hi.
Hey, yes, you're here. I know after 38 minutes, but that's okay.
Sorry, it's just the internet. It's shitty again.
I figured it was the shitty internet, but glad it's working now. But hey, better late than never, but we'll take it. Just talking about CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins. It is set for SummerSlam, bro. A killer segment and such. And man, chills. And I think this all leads to a third encounter between Punk and McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood. It's going to be great. Man, oh man, what did you think of Punk and McIntyre in their segment?
That was really good.
Absolutely.
They've been the most entertaining thing of the entire company for like 6 months. And Punk hasn't wrestled since the Rumble.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if Punk didn't get hurt at the Rumble and it changed the course of WrestleMania, and look where we're at now. Maybe it would not have been this good.
Punk would have main evented Mania by now.
Yeah, against Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship instead of Drew McIntyre. I mean, Punk has cost Drew the title 3 times, one of them in his own country.
Drew, unfortunately, was not the main event.
That was the opener, yes. True.
It was the night 2 opener.
Yes. And I was there live. I was there when Punk cost Drew the title and Priest cashed in Money in the Bank. So I'm loving. I will say Raw has a lot going on for them compared to SmackDown. Raw has a lot more story. SmackDown, not much going on there, but Raw with Punk, Drew, and Seth, Gunther and Damian Priest, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley with the Judgment Day involved, Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn. They got a lot going on.
There's so much more to be intrigued by on Monday Night Raw.
And it also helps when they have a stacked roster as well. Like Ilya Dragunov, Gunther, Lyra Valkyria, Judgment Day, you name it.
The Judgment Day.
Yes, the Judgment Day.
Yeah, all rise for the Judgment Day.
Yes. Though I don't have the Judgment Day shirt, I have the Bullet Club shirt on. But anyways.
Well, the battle will be proud.
Yes.
Ironic. But coincidentally, I mentioned the Judgment Day, and then there's a Bullet Club shirt.
Yeah. But yeah, Punk and Drew and Seth, really, really effective segment. And it's like, even though if Drew and Punk don't really like each other, they've turned to work like they've done business.
I don't think they hate each other, really. I think it's all just storyline.
Yeah, probably. But it's like both men but they're willing to do business, and the Elite could have done business with Punk and AEW.
Well, why would they hate each other? First of all, did they work each other during their first WWE run? I think they did.
I think that was when Drew was a lot younger. He was the chosen one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there was hate for each other. How could they hate if they never even worked or even like discussed things together? Like the first time, they didn't work that much. The first time around.
Yeah.
And the second time, they're just they're really the picking picked up.
Yeah, and they're a little older and they're a lot more mature.
Yeah.
And Punk's been a joy since he's come back. And it's said that apparently WWE is very happy with his behavior and what he's doing. In fact, they want to keep him there forever. And Punk even said when he's done wrestling, he wants to help out NXT, even run NXT.
Yeah, we're going to see him run NXT by 2030.
I hope so, man. Like Triple H running NXT Black and Gold. I mean, look at CM Punk on Collision. Made that show. Like, CM Punk is of long-term booking. Imagine CM Punk running NXT, where NXT would be at. So much better. Probably on par with NXT Black and Gold. Not better, but almost there. And NXT's actually been very good as of late. It's not been bad. I wouldn't say very good, but it's not been bad whatsoever.
Yeah, they're picking up buzz. Their shows have been pretty good, and they're picking up buzz.
Yeah, in fact, they had the Rascals wrestle in the main event Tuesday NXT against Axiom, Nathan Frazier, and Javon Evans. Banger match. Killer match.
And say his name, and he appears.
Yes, Joe Hendry. Yes, he'll be on NXT next week, week 1 Grand American Bash for a concert, but this is Monday Night Raw.
He also was on recent house show.
Yes. Yeah, NXT was like the local Florida house show. I think it was Dayton, Florida.
Yeah.
So he's everywhere.
Yeah.
Just say his name.
All you have to do is say his name.
I believe in Joe Hendry. You believe in Joe Hendry. But Punk, McIntyre, Seth, really effective segment. And they have a segment next week on Raw, the Go Home show, for the Raw portion for SummerSlam, where Seth is officiating both guys to make sure neither Drew or Punk both touch each other. Make sure none of them touch each other before their match at SummerSlam, or else their match at SummerSlam is canceled. But really, really good stuff here with Seth and Drew. What?
Stamping their authority.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And Seth's on the show. You're not going to leave him off the show.
Yeah.
Even though it's not in a wrestling capacity, he is a referee.
At least he's on the show. At least.
Absolutely.
If it's something, and at least he's something involved which will bleed it to for the next 6 months.
Yes. So we then after this match here, we then talked about So after this segment, we then go to Dominic Mysterio bumping into the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan backstage, which led to one of the other talking segments of the show, Dominic dumping Liv. And I do use this because I think Rhea's getting set up at SummerSlam, dude. I really do. We then go to an interview with Sami Zayn, Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn, being asked about Braun Breaker. So he's being interviewed, and he hears something, and he finds the Judgment Day attacking Jey Uso, laying him out, and Sami stops the fight, makes the save. in which Sami Zayn and Jey Uso wrestled in the main event of the show. So Sami Zayn was about to talk about Braun Breaker, who broke Ilya Dragunov. Breaker is in the beginning and the end of the show, bro. And I tried to tell you Braun Breaker wasn't going to break anybody, and you're like, are you sure about that?
It was not done yet.
Nope, far from it.
He was only beginning. He was just beginning.
Yeah. Oh, man. We then go to the next match of the show. Xavier Woods, Akira Tozawa, and Otis with Maxine Dupree against the final testament of Karrion Kross, the authors of Pain, Akam and Razor, with Scarlett and Paul Ellering. There was Otis getting the hot tag. Crowd was into Otis. He took the fight to Kross and AOP. We have Woods getting tagged in the match. Kross ultimately pins him with the final prayer. I think it's that pump handle like flatliner that Kross does, and he gets the win for the final testament. What'd you think of this, dude?
It was straight to the point. It was basically, it was straightforward.
It was kind of harmless.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Just get everybody there, a position on the show.
Yeah, and just to get the crowd.
And also, you don't want to talk stories. It also progresses the storyline across the New Day.
Yes.
This is another loss for the New Day to Kross.
Yes. I see what you did there with the Kross thing. But though Kofi wasn't there, I think this leads
is the first
to
time actually, from what I've heard, this is actually true. This is the first time Xavier Woods, this is the first time he has wrestled a match that did not involve, this is not a match basically, but this is the first tag team match Xavier Woods wrestled in that did not involve either Kofi or Big E in the last 10 years.
Wow. Though I do think this eventually leads to Kofi. Okay. I think they break up the New Day. I think it leads to the New Day being broken up at the end of this. I think it could possibly lead to Kofi Kingston going heel and turning on Xavier Woods, and we get Xavier as a singles guy.
I think this is the direction.
I mean, I wouldn't break up any tag teams because the tag division coming out of Mania with the splitting of the two tag titles hasn't really been much because they do need teams on both shows. I don't know about breaking up the New Day's the right move, but I could see Kofi going heel and turning on Xavier.
I think, the New Day I can actually get behind the breakup. I mean, they've been together for like a decade now.
Yeah, since 2014.
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah, they pretty much did as much as they could with the faction.
And I don't think Big E is ever going to get cleared to wrestle ever again, very sadly.
It doesn't even feel like a New Day without him. It's just Kofi and Xavier.
And it's probably going to take a long, long time for Big E to get cleared. I think he's done. I don't think he wrestles ever again, unfortunately. It's just sad the way it ended. It was nobody's fault. From 2 years ago when Ridge Holland did the belly in the outside, and not even Ridge Holland's fault. It's a shame. But
it's just a simple routine move that you've done with your opponents 1,000 times, and at that one instance, it could get you injured.
Absolutely. So I don't think Big E's ever going to wrestle in that ring ever again. I don't think you'll ever see him wrestle again, and it sucks. But if that's the case,
I will say the bigger picture is he's still alive.
Yes, and healthy.
Yeah, he could have died in that match. That botch could have either paralyzed him or killed him.
Yeah, one spot could have done it, and it was neither. No man was to blame for that. Neither Ridge or Big E. It's neither guy's fault. But Kofi and Woods, I could probably see one of them break up. I was thinking Xavier going heel, but I think it's Kofi the one that goes heel. I would be like an aggressive heel Kofi Kingston is something different. We haven't seen that from Kofi Kingston in WWE before. We've seen the SOS boom, boom, boom Kofi Kingston as a babyface in his early WWE run where he was on the ECW brand. Then he was Intercontinental Champion, US Champion multiple times on Raw and on SmackDown. You know, he was a tag team champion with CM Punk on Raw in late 2008, by the way. Fun little fact. But this was before the New Day of Kofi, with Kofi Kingston. There is that Kofi, then the New Day Kofi. A heel aggressive Kofi Kingston we've not seen. It'd be something different. No, it would be something fresh.
Yeah.
You know? I think that would probably be different. That I could get behind if they break up the New Day. But... And Xavier's very underrated. He's a guy who could really break out on his own, in my opinion, like Big E did in late 2020 when he was away from the New Day and he was Intercontinental Champion. Then he won Mr. Money in the Bank and he beat Lashley for the WWE title. You know? But,
yeah.
Just to throw that out there. Final Testament win. We then get, after this, the Tree brothers with Chad Gable, they're all in suits. They come out and they try and recruit Otis, Tozawa, and Maxine by telling them to come back to their teacher. Otis says no, turns him down. They brawl. Otis is about to lay out Chad Gable, but the Creeds take out Otis and Tozawa and lays them out. So it's a beatdown on Otis by the Creeds and Chad Gable. The lights then go out, or they go down. Then they have the sound signal for the Wyatt Six. The Wyatt Six come out, and Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, is from behind. He hits Sister Abigail on Chad Gable in the middle of the ring and such. So,
poor Chad Gable.
Yeah,
it's like that one scene, where I think this was the Family Guy scene where the one person he's basically is taken by the ghosts.
Yeah. But it
was basically Chad Gable. He's basically being haunted by the Wyatt Six.
I think there was one of them. Like I think the Creeds got out of there or ran.
Yeah, I think it was both Creeds who went out of the ring with chairs.
Yeah. Yeah, the Wyatt Six members, not Uncle Howdy on the stage, and then Uncle Howdy in the ring. Yeah. Really, really good stuff here. That's another. You talk about another good story on Raw. The Creeds, Chad Gable, and the Wyatt Six. That's another one, right there.
Yeah,
that's another one right there. But I don't think this is on SummerSlam though. I think they save it for Bash in Berlin or at Bad Blood.
I think the SummerSlam card has already like 7 matches.
Or maybe I think did they say they're adding an 8th match? This could be the 8th match.
Maybe.
They could do that. But another effective segment with Bo Dallas and Chad Gable. With the Wyatt Six and the Creeds and Chad Gable. The new Alpha Academy.
I think we saw Nikki Cross in the VHS tape.
Yes. Revealed herself from Abby the Witch to Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
This was another.
I'd say VHS tape has been one of the most entertaining parts of Raw. They're nailing.
Yeah, that was another good one. No different. And I'm glad Nikki Cross is back on TV. So we then get Bronson Reed versus Pete Dunne, bro. We had the broadcast team, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, recapping Pete Dunne turning on Sheamus last week after Sheamus' match with Bronson Reed last week. So this match is about to begin. Sheamus runs in before the bell even rings. He drops Pete Dunne with the knee to the face. Sheamus then brawls with Bronson Reed. He sends Dunne over the ropes and hits him with the 10 beat to the Beldrim. Pete Dunne then evades the bro kick. And then Sheamus hits the bro kick on Bronson Reed instead. So this match didn't even happen. It's like a no contest. Match never even started. Bell never even rang. Match never even happened. Thoughts on this?
I'd say it's intriguing.
I mean, they're continuing it. It's storyline continuity. And Pete Dunne's not been bad since he's turned on Sheamus. I think Pete Dunne is the bruiserweight as a heel. He fits better as a heel, in my opinion. And this is a nice undercard feud for Sheamus as well.
It gives somebody something to do on the show.
And they have Bronson Reed involved.
It's basically giving three talented people, something to do. Yeah, because everything else, whenever if you want to put somebody on TV, it has to make sense.
Absolutely.
Whether it's the main event, not just main event scene or the upper mid card, mid card and the lower cards, opening acts.
Yeah, and their mid card on Raw is very stacked, very good, very nice.
Everybody has a story.
Yeah, everybody has to have a purpose on the show, or a lot of people do.
Yeah,
but liking what they're doing so far, I think it's been solid with Pete Dunne and Sheamus, and they have the history with the Brawling Brutes. Right there. And then you have Bronson Reed involved as well. I did hear Pete Dunne was on NXT Tuesday. He laid out Trick Williams, apparently. So Pete Dunne's on Monday and on Tuesday.
Maybe you could see Trick Williams on the main roster again.
Yeah, mate. Do you think we see Trick Williams on the main roster by the end of the year?
Possibly.
On the Raw brand or SmackDown?
I think I could see him most likely on the SmackDown brand.
Yeah. Too bad probably Booker T won't be on there with him because he's his hype man on NXT with Trick Williams. But yeah, that was that. This is clearly not over in the long shot, in the long run. They'll continue this feud. Maybe this leads to in the end of this feud, a triple threat: Bronson Reed versus Sheamus versus Pete Dunne. And maybe this is the number one championship for the IC title coming out of SummerSlam.
I could honestly see this triple threat being on the Bash of Berlin card.
Yes. Yep. And Sheamus is from Ireland. Pete Dunne's from England. Bronson Reed from Australia. But yeah, that actually would not be a bad undercard match for Bash of Berlin.
An Irishman battling an Englishman and an Australian on a German show.
Yeah.
Ireland versus England versus Australia in Germany.
Yeah. But yeah, I could probably see that. I would not mind it. Yeah. But we then go to the next part of the show after this segment here. We then go to a backstage segment with Rhea Ripley, and she's criticizing the Judgment Day. And Finn Balor says he's had enough of being disrespected and the disrespectness. He says that he and Dominic Mysterio will face Sami Zayn and Jey Uso tonight. Says they'll take care of Sami and Jey. Balor then also says that he will face Gunther next week. Dominic then tries to speak up, but Rhea quickly quiets him and shuts him up and then drags him away. Which led, I think it's one of the next segment to Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, and Rhea Ripley, man. So,
a sneak peek of what will come when Raw moves to Netflix.
Yes, you just see, as of late, Raw getting more edginess, pushing the envelope a little bit more. Liv Morgan wearing those tight, like those very short, like the short blue jeans, very short, that you'd see with girls in high school and out in public. So you're seeing that. Rhea Ripley licking Dominic right in the side of the face. So you're seeing it more edgier. And this is going to be Raw when they go to Netflix, man. We're getting wrestling back come January with Raw, believe me.
Yeah.
They'll be allowed to curse, be themselves. Maybe I see why MJF didn't decide to re-sign with AEW for 3 more years. Maybe I see why now. Just a thought.
Maybe.
But We then go. And they also announced Finn Balor and Gunther for next week as well. The match where we were robbed of before COVID. So I remember we were going to get that match before COVID, then COVID hit. And now
They've been on the main roster like at the same time for like 2 years now.
I think this was when Gunther, when he was Walter as NXT UK champion, and Balor was still in NXT in early 2020. We were going to get that for NXT UK, but then COVID-19 hit and the whole world shut down.
Yeah. We were robbed big time of that match.
It's a shame, because that would have been great. But we're finally getting it next week. I know it's on Raw, but I'm actually going to enjoy every minute of it. I know you will as well. But we then go to, after this, to another backstage skit with Sheamus saying that he's still scratching his head about why Pete Dunne has a problem with him and why he turned on him. He says that they can have a pint together or fight it out in the ring. What if we get Sheamus Pete Dunne, but they get like a stipulation like a no holds barred Belfast brawl or whatever kind of no DQ match they have?
What was the stipulation again for that match between Imperium and the Brawling Brutes at Extreme Rules?
Donnybrook match.
Yeah. I actually want to, Donnybrook match. I actually like this. I actually like to to see a Donnybrook match. I think this was also the same stipulation where Sheamus fought McIntyre. That stipulation, too.
Yeah, it was the night before SummerSlam 2 years ago. And Drew McIntyre won the match. That was a great match. That was a really good match.
Yeah. So he's familiar with that stipulation.
Yeah. So if they did that for their match with Sheamus and Pete Dunne, I'd be down for that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. So they do that wouldn't surprise me. We then go to another good segment of the show. One of the other talking segments of the show, outside of Punk, Seth, and McIntyre, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Dominic Mysterio. I know you got something to say on this. We got Rhea calling out Liv Morgan. Rhea says to Liv, okay, Liv, you want him, meaning Dominic, you want him, come get him. Liv Morgan, the women's world champion, her music hits. She's on this high stairs where the crowd is. She's not on the stage, is where like the side where the crowd is in like a higher middle section of the arena is where Liv Morgan's standing with her music hitting. And Morgan has a mic, and she has her short blue jeans on, not PG, which I like. Liv Morgan says that she won't be coming down to the ring because she has some self-control. Says she can't wait until SummerSlam, or she says she can wait until SummerSlam. Liv Morgan then says that she has feelings for she says that she then has feelings for Dominic, and that Dominic has feelings for her too. And the line here, Liv Morgan was like, gorgeous men like Dominic, Rhea, don't go for women like you, Rhea. And that they go for girls that look like her, meaning Liv, and Liv laughs. This was a nice line. and then
exceptional TV.
Yes, big time. Then Ripley Ripley shoves Dominic, and then Rhea tries to go after Liv tries to get out of the ring to go after Liv. Then Dominic grabs her arm, and as she tries to charge Ripley. And then they argue, and then Liv asks the crowd to let him speak. Liv then tells Dominic to say those 3 little words. But Dominic says that he hates Liv Morgan and asks if she's stupid. Morgan smiles. Dominic says she ruined his life and he doesn't like her. Dominic says she can't stand her and she ruined everything, yelling through the mic. This causes Liv Morgan to cry and walk away as she's all crying and really, really upset. And then Rhea Ripley, after this, then whispers into Dominic's ear and licks it. Licks the side of his face. And then Rhea proceeds this with a kiss on the cheek to Dominic from Rhea, as Dominic smiles. And then Rhea's music hits, and that was the end of that segment, man. Really, really good stuff. Thoughts?
Imagine if Raw was on Netflix this early.
Holy shit. Like Raw, man, even better. Makes me more like I can't wait for Raw to go to Netflix. It's gonna be great when they do. Like this was such a good segment. This would have been even better if it was on Netflix, bro. Imagine.
Exactly. For real.
This was a really effective segment. Got the job done, and Dominic yelling at the mic. It didn't get booed when he yelled at Liv Morgan. You ruined my life. Get out. I don't want you. It's like, Liv, you ruined my life. Dominic, you mean Rey Mysterio ruined your life, as you would say. No, Rey Mysterio didn't ruin his son's life. Yes, he did. Are you there? Uh-oh. Hope he's there. Oh, boy. I don't know. Uh-oh. I don't know if he's there, but but anyways, joking aside, really effective segment with Rhea, Liv, and Dominic here, though I do think this is all a ruse. It's all a setup to set up Rhea at SummerSlam. Rhea Ripley's fighting Liv Morgan at SummerSlam in Cleveland for the Women's World title. Rhea's not walking out of SummerSlam in Cleveland with the Women's World title. Liv is walking out of Cleveland still the Women's World Champion, but Dominic's going to screw Rhea. And is going to screw Rhea out of the championship at SummerSlam, which gets Rhea officially out of Judgment Day and as a babyface. Which then I think leads to Rhea and Liv for the championship for the Women's World title again, going into Bad Blood in Atlanta, where that's where Rhea wins back the championship.
Actually, I've been thinking of another idea.
What's your other idea?
What if maybe, because remember, Liv Morgan once handed out Finn Balor that key.
Yes, yeah, the hotel room key.
What if instead of Dominic, what if it's Finn Balor who cost Rhea?
That could be it. And he did, and he was very pissed at Rhea on Monday, too. And
yeah, what if it's Finn who actually instead costs Rhea?
I would not mind that. I mean, maybe Dominic people are expecting it, and Triple H usually likes to throw a curveball at fans.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Finn Balor who cost Rhea at SummerSlam. Maybe. I mean, with the Judgment Day wanting to get at Jey Uso, and Rhea's like, what's Jey Uso done? And Finn wasn't too happy with Rhea's comments on that. I could see Rhea coming from. That could probably lead. And Finn Balor then said, we know what needs to be done. Could that mean that Judgment Day kicks Rhea out at SummerSlam? I think so. Like Finn said, we know what needs to be done. So, Rhea's not walking out of Cleveland with the championship. She'll win it back in Atlanta, Georgia, at Come Bad Blood on October 5th. And Rhea's going to be an even bigger babyface coming out of SummerSlam. And Liv's title reign's been very decent. It's been much better than her SmackDown Women's title reign from 2 years ago. Much better. But I'm sure you probably feel the same way.
Yeah.
We then go to the broadcast team recapping earlier in the show with the brawl between Damian Priest and Gunther, where they went at it and the security guards got destroyed by Damian
Some of the
Priest.
greatest jobbers.
I know I know they are the. I mean, them and the referees.
Yeah,
You know,
the
But-
dumb referees.
yeah. Wow. We then go to Zelina Vega after this coming to the stage, and her arm is in a sling after Shayna Baszler injured it last week. Kathy Kelly then says that Zelina was hurt last week, and Vega says that won't stop her. We get to Zelina Vega versus Zoe Stark with Shayna Baszler. We have Lyra, Katana, and Kaden coming out to even the odds. We got Vega hitting Stark with their arm brace, and it's the code red for the win. Zelina Vega wins. I said this earlier in this video. There's not much to care with these 6 ladies right now. What are they doing with Lyra? And there's no story. And Zoe, Shayna, and Sonya, I'm sorry, I don't care. I don't care.
I mean, at least they're trying, but it's.
I know, but I know they're trying, but I mean, is it going anywhere? It's just it's hard for me to care.
And they're doing the shield-like fist as their taunt.
Dude, they're no Shield. They're no Shield, bro. They're not Reigns. They're not Ambrose. They're not Rollins. Let's be real. I mean, all 3 ladies are talented. Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Sonya Deville. But I really think the 3 of them need to be on their own. They don't really need to be in a pairing. I understand they're trying to get it over, but I don't think it's working. And Lyra Valkyria, what the hell are they doing with her? Ever since King and Queen of the Ring, she's not done anything. And we said this the other day. What the hell are they doing with Lyra?
Like I can understand. Like I know you don't want to rush her into the championship picture or all that, but give her something interesting.
Yeah,
It's like an interesting big card feud.
This is not it. This shit's not it with Zoe, Shayna, and Sonya with Katana and Kaden. This ain't it. And then Damage Control involved. This shit is not it. Like, what are they doing? At this point, I hope they introduce the women's mid-card title. At least it gives Lyra something to do. You know?
Yeah.
Moving on, though. We go backstage. Xavier Woods, he's asking Adam Pearce for a match with Karrion Kross next week, and he gives it to him. So Xavier Woods versus Karrion Kross set next week, as well as Seth, Punk, and Drew referee officiating. Lyra, Katana, and Kaden versus Zoe, Shayna, and Sonya, and then Finn Balor versus Gunther, all set for Raw next week, for the Raw Go-Home show for SummerSlam next week. With Raw next week on the Sci-Fi Channel. We then go
People
to...
are wondering.
What?
For the people that are wondering, why is Raw moving to Sci-Fi? It's the Summer Olympics.
Yes.
Summer Olympics, I think it will be also on NBC.
Yes, on NBC USA Network from France. Paris, France.
Yeah. This is also why NXT will also be on the Sci-Fi for the next 2 weeks.
Yep, just like Monday Night
for
Raw.
next Tuesday's episode and next week's episode.
Yeah. So that's the reason why.
Yeah.
We then get Drew McIntyre confronting Pierce, and he gets frustrated that he didn't tell him about Rollins. Pierce says that Drew, Punk, and Rollins will be in the ring next week, as Rollins will get his referee instructions. So we
At least we have one competent referee.
Yes, and Seth Rollins, and he's not a referee; he's a wrestler.
Yeah, he's a deep in a referee.
But these referees are smart. Come on, man. There's the referee at the Rumble with KO and Logan Paul. Yeah, that's one smart referee. That's one smart referee out of many. But we then get the women's tag team champions, Alba Fire, Isla Dawn. They get interviewed. Sonya, Shayna, and Zoe interrupt, and they make it clear that they're coming for the tag titles. Speaking of Alba Fire Isla Dawn, I think they're wrestling NXT Great American Bash, was it, this Tuesday against Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson?
I think they are retaining.
Yeah, the Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson are not winning. They're not winning. I wish an NXT female tag team would win those tag titles, bring them to NXT, and burn them. But sadly, it looks like that's not going to happen.
Not anytime soon.
Sadly. So they're getting them on. So Alba and Isla are getting Lash and Jakara on this Tuesday, NXT Great American Bash Week 1. And then apparently they're getting Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair for the tag titles and Jade and Bianca's rematch on the SmackDown before SummerSlam next week on SmackDown in Cleveland. So that as well. So Alba and Isla have a busy week next week. They'll be in Orlando, then they'll be in Cleveland. So, but, I mean, Alba and Isla versus Zoe and Shayna, I mean, I don't care. Women's tag titles are fucking worthless. You know, they're not prestigious. They're the most unprestigious. A triple cheeseburger is a lot more prestigious than those women's tag team titles, bro. You know? But we then go to a taped promo with Gunther discussing his upcoming world title match against Damian Priest at SummerSlam. He says that the World Championship needs him to create a new mountaintop. He says Gunther then highlights the shortcomings of Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre and says that Damian, this foundation is crumbling. Gunther says he's the only one who can define the prestige of the World Heavyweight title and bring it to new heights, like he did the Intercontinental Championship and the NXT UK Championship. So that was a nice hype package to hype up the world title match at SummerSlam between Priest and Gunther. Jackson in the chat a minute ago says, yo, what's up, Jackson? Just reading the chat a little bit. But we then get the main event of the show. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso taking on the Judgment Day. Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. Sami and Jey got a special entrance as they walked to the ring from backstage and through the crowd. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso versus the Judgment Day. We have an Arabian press by Sami taking out Balor and McDonough. Very nice spot. We have Dominic distracting the referee while Carlito snuck up behind Sami and sent him into the post, sending Sami's head crashing into the post, leaving Sami in a heap. We go to the break. After break, we got the Judgment Day take-in turns working over Sami Zayn. We then get Jey Uso getting a hot tag. Balor and McDonough take over after another cheap shot after Jey clears the ring. Jey then tags in Sami. Sami gets the hot tag. Sami sends McDonough into the corner with the exploder suplex. Sami then calls for the haluva kick. Dominic then hooks his leg from outside to stop the haluva kick. We then get McDonough sending Sami flying with the standing Spanish fly. Kick out from Sami. We then get Jey and Sami hitting the 1D on JD McDonough or JD McChicken. Balor breaks up the pin. Finn Balor lands the coup de grace. McDonough falls that with a beautiful moonsault. Sami Zayn just breaks up the pinfall. McDonough sets up for a superplex. Jey knocks McDonough to the mat. Sami hits the haluva kick out of nowhere. Jey follows that up with the Uso splash for the 1-2-3. And Jey Uso and Sami Zayn win this tag team main event match. Then post-match, Braun Breaker then hits the ring and breaks Sami in half with this spear while Jey had his back turned. And Braun Breaker opened the show and he closed the show, did Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker was all over the show.
He ran fast.
Yes, he did run fast. Like he always runs fast, dude. When is there a time he doesn't?
So we have two Brawns who run fast.
Yeah.
We have Braun Breaker, Braun Strowman.
Yeah, yeah. But Braun Breaker, man, all over the damn show, man. Taking out Ilya, taking out Sammy. Braun Breaker's your new Intercontinental Champion come Cleveland at SummerSlam. Mark my words. Sammy's not walking out of Cleveland with that IC title. No way.
So much focus was put onto Braun Breaker.
Absolutely. And he's one of the future pieces of the company, and you can tell management's very high on Braun Breaker, and rightfully so. And he's this red hot, is Braun Breaker. You pull the trigger on him at SummerSlam, that's the way to go. And still this young, and with WWE with this youth movement, I mean, Braun Breaker's going to be one of the future pieces of the company to carry this company for years and years to come. And he's only in his 20s.
He's been doing this for a long time. He's been only wrestling for like 3 years, I think.
Yeah, 3 years.
And he's wrestling as if he's a 20-year veteran.
Yeah. And also helps that he's a Steiner, too.
Yeah. He acts like one and he looks like one.
Comes off
and he
as
wrestles
one.
like one.
Yeah. Has the best spear in the business, too. Great on the mic, charisma, in-ring. He's come a long way. He wrestled an indie match in early 2021 before signing with the WWE and NXT. Then they had 2.0, and he debuts one of the focal points of that show, if not the big one. And
he basically was the face of the new rebranding of NXT. He was basically the face of the brand.
Yeah. Then after, over a year there, they turn him heel. He's even better. Then he forms the Wolf Dogs with Baron Corbin NXT. Now he's on Raw by himself, and he is killing it. Killing it. One of the best parts of Raw, and soon to be your new Intercontinental Champion. Your next Intercontinental Champion is right there in Braun Breaker. So get ready, folks. And he's going to do great. You thought Gunther was great with the IC title, and Sami Zayn very decent with the IC title. Look out for Braun Breaker, man. I can see him winning the title at SummerSlam and not dropping it until at least the end of the year, or maybe goes into WrestleMania next year as the Intercontinental Champion, where he drops it to Sheamus. Maybe do Braun Breaker and Sheamus in Las Vegas WrestleMania 41 for the Intercontinental title. I wouldn't mind that. And Sheamus wins the IC title in Las Vegas. I wouldn't hate that idea. Plus, I don't think Sheamus has I think Sheamus has a contract coming up end of the year next year early next year. I don't think he's going anywhere anyway.
I don't think his contract ends until WrestleMania. Maybe at least after WrestleMania next year.
Maybe, but I don't think he's going anywhere regardless. I don't think he is. I think he's staying with WWE. I honestly think that. And then Sami Zayn, Jey Uso. And after Sami loses the IC title, and I've been thinking about this recently, after Sami Zayn drops the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam to Braun Breaker, what else do you do with Sami Zayn on Monday Night Raw? He's not winning it back from Braun Breaker. He's not beating Gunther for the world title, and Gunther's going to be world champion at SummerSlam. Sami Zayn's not beating Gunther for the world title. You know? I mean, you have the Bloodline story on SmackDown. Roman Reigns is going to be back soon around SummerSlam. Jimmy Uso's going to be back soon. We're going to talk about him in a little bit here in this video. We're going to get the Usos back together.
I think the best route for Sami is indeed the Bloodline angle.
Yeah, though Jay and Sami are on Raw, though, do they trade them to SmackDown? Because I think WrestleVotes, after the draft a few months ago, was in May, I think WrestleVotes tweeted out a trade or two before Raw is officially on Netflix. Do we see Jey Uso and Sami Zayn traded to SmackDown to be in the Bloodline story?
Maybe.
Because Sami Zayn is the honorary Us, remember? And then you have the Usos. Roman's going to get the Usos together. Jimmy's going to be back. Jimmy Uso will be back. Roman Reigns is going to be back soon. Solo even said at the end of SmackDown last night in a quick promo that, Roman, you have a problem with me, you know where to find me.
I mean, who is Roman going to stop? I mean, who is Roman going to stop? Who's going to team up with him? Pretty much the entire roster, kayfabe-wise, is going to hate him because basically he ran over them when he was champion with the Bloodline.
Yeah, his abuse of power, and then berating Sami Zayn, then Jey Uso, and then Jimmy, before Jimmy came back. So yeah, like not
And there's
much.
no
Not
Heyman.
many people.
Heyman got taken out too.
Yeah, in Madison Square Garden by Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa about a month ago.
So the
And then
only way Roman could stop is he has to bring family back. The OG
yeah.
versus this new bloodline.
Yeah, OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline at Survivor Series this November inside War Games. I think it's going to be Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu, and Solo Sikoa in War Games in November Survivor Series, taking on Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Sami Zayn. I know Hikaleo's coming in rumoredly. Rumors Hikaleo is signed to WWE and he's going to be coming to SmackDown to join a New Bloodline. I don't know where you fit him in there. I think you could still fit him at like an enforcer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could probably see Sami and Jay traded to SmackDown, give SmackDown life, and put them in the Bloodline story because Roman's getting the Usos back together when Roman comes back around SummerSlam, and Sami Zayn's an honorary Uso. I think it makes sense to do that. So I've been thinking about that recently, and I'm sure you probably felt the same way. Because Sami Zayn's not taking the title back from Braun Breaker, the IC title. He's not beating Gunther for the world title. What else do you do with Sami Zayn on Raw?
And Gunther's going to have that world title locked in.
Yeah.
For like the next year.
Yeah, Gunther's holding that world title until at least WrestleMania 41. So, might as well trade Sami Zayn and Jey Uso to SmackDown for somebody else. Might as well. But I thought Raw, Monday, a very good show. Very effective show. Thumbs up show. Did what it needed to do. It set the tone for next week. The Raw side for SummerSlam has been very good compared to SmackDown. SmackDown side for SummerSlam hasn't had really much outside Cody Rhodes with Solo Sikoa and LA Knight and Logan Paul. And even Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes, Solo's not believable because he's not beating Cody at SummerSlam. But the Raw side for SummerSlam, for their build to SummerSlam, has been much better than SmackDown's. And I've noticed that the past couple weeks. But I thought Raw was a good show Monday. I'm sure you could probably attest to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's the Raw side for the video from Raw this past Monday, July 22nd, 2024. We move on from that.
Actually, I gotta get out of here right now. Somebody needs help.
All right, no problem. Okay, so not a problem. But yeah, SmackDown last night, even though it was taped, wasn't really much. So Adam Carl left. That's not a problem. So I'll carry on the rest of the show. About almost an hour and a half into the video. Not going to do much because not much happened on SmackDown last night. So I'm just going to not waste too much time for you guys with this. We have SmackDown last night, July the 26th of 2024, taped last night with SmackDown. We got a backstage thing with SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis, with him with the Bloodline. Aldis tells Tonga Loa that since his eye was injured and patched up, that the Bloodline would have to forfeit their spot in the tag team Gauntlet. Tama Tonga then says that that's not happening, that Solo Sikoa steps in and tells Aldis that Loa is part of the Bloodline. But so is this man, Jacob Fatu, and he walks in. Sikoa then says Fatu will take Tonga Loa's place. Nick Aldis says that he's okay with that, as Aldis then walks away. Sikoa then tells Fatu to bring the tag titles back home to the Bloodline. So then we get the first match of the show shortly after. LA Knight versus Santos Escobar with Elektra Lopez. And LA Knight's talking trash to Logan Paul as he makes his way through backstage and through Gorilla. LA Knight's music hits. We get the match with LA Knight and Santos Escobar. This was decent for what it was. Knight lands a few punches. Escobar then floors Knight. We have a back elbow from Knight. Corner 10 punches from Knight. We got a cheap shot from Electra Lopez. Escobar hits a 619. We go to the break, then back from break. Knight is all fired up. Lopez rolls into the ring to distract Knight. That backfires. Or when that doesn't work, Logan Paul, the U.S. champion, comes out. He hops up on the apron. He ducks Knight with a right hand. Knight ducks a right hand from Logan Paul, but eats a super kick from Santos. Santos then tries to hit the Phantom Driver's finisher, but LA Knight slips out. He drops Escobar with the BFT, the blunt force trauma, for the win and the victory. The 1-2-3. LA Knight defeats Santos Escobar. Then after this match, we get a post-match attack from Logan Paul and Santos Escobar. They both beat down on LA Knight. We got Santos with the running knee. Before this, we got LA Knight laid out. Escobar drags LA Knight to the middle of the ring. Logan Paul climbs the top rope, hits a frog splash on LA Knight as they take out LA Knight, both Logan Paul and Santos Escobar. And that was that for that part of the show. That was that. And after coming back from break, Logan Paul was interviewed backstage by Byron Saxon, saying that Logan Paul, he's from Cleveland. He's going to be on the SmackDown before SummerSlam next week on SmackDown in Cleveland, Ohio. And he has a Cleveland surprise for his Cleveland homecoming. What that means, I don't know. But this is probably one of the good things for SmackDown. The very few from SmackDown going into SummerSlam. One of the very good from SmackDown going into SummerSlam. Logan Paul and LA Knight. Their feuds, I think their build's been very solid. It's been not bad. In fact, it's been nice. It's been very nice. They've had some decent build. I do think LA Knight walks out of Cleveland at SummerSlam with the United States Championship. I think it's time we get the U.S. title back on a full-time guy on the SmackDown brand and no more holding of the titles hostage. I think we need to do that. Logan Paul needs to drop the U.S. title at SummerSlam to LA Knight as Logan Paul. And with this beatdown on LA Knight, it tells me that Logan Paul, I don't think he's retaining at SummerSlam. I think we get a new U.S. champion at SummerSlam and LA Knight come Cleveland, Ohio on August 3rd at SummerSlam as I stretch. A little tired, but I'm okay. A decent match. Though imagine if LA Knight was U.S. champion and imagine LA Knight and Santos Escobar in a SmackDown program over the U.S. title in a feud. I think that would be nice, and I hope we get that coming out of SummerSlam because after SummerSlam, Logan Paul is going to go away, and Santos apparently in this little alliance apparently right now with Logan Paul, Santos Escobar, and such. I would do LA Knight and Santos Escobar in a SmackDown feud over the U.S. title coming out of SummerSlam. I think that would be good, and I would not be against that. And it's a nice first challenger for LA Knight, in my opinion. But that was that for that. We then go to backstage. Naomi is interviewed. They showed a recap from Blair Davenport versus Naomi from 2 weeks ago where Naomi won against Blair Davenport. Then after they go backstage, Blair says she has respect for Naomi, only to attack Naomi from behind. So they're continuing the feud with Blair Davenport and Naomi. So we go to backstage and Naomi is interviewed. And no, don't, not my video. Not during the video. Not during my video.
Can I just...
No. It's okay.
Go downstairs and do downstairs and get...
Sorry. All right, don't worry about it. Ignore it. Ignore it. Ignore that. Don't worry about it. But Naomi is interviewed. She says she doesn't know why that newbie Blair Davenport is trying to play mind games with her. She says that she is going to make Davenport respect the glow. Bianca and Jade then walk in and cheer Naomi on. Belair then tells Naomi that they are heading to the ring to call up the champs for now, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. So they'll then go to an in-ring segment where Bianca and Jade make their entrances. They basically say they're going to win their tag team titles back. And they call out Alba Fire, Isla Dawn. Their music hits. And Alba and Isla come from behind to attack Jade and Bianca from behind. This, however, ends with Belair and Jade taking out Alba and Isla. Who cares? Moving on. And this is going to be one of the matches for SmackDown next week in Cleveland. Alba Fire, Isla Dawn defending their women's tag titles against Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. I don't think Jade and Bianca win back their titles. I think Alba and Isla retain, and I could see either Jade or Bianca, one of them turning on each other. And that's probably the right way to go about it, because if Jade and Bianca win back the titles, there's not much to do with them as tag team champions again. So I think Jade and Bianca lose their rematch, and we get one of them, Bianca or Jade, one of them turning on each other. And I think Bianca's the one that goes heel. And God knows Bianca needs a heel turn, because her face run has been very stale the past year and a half. So we then move on to the tag team gauntlet for the number one contendership for DIY's WWE tag team titles. We got Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews kicking off the match, making their entrance. They first take on Legado del Fantasma. We got Angel and Berto attacking as soon as the bell rang. Corbin tosses Angel clear across the ring. We get Corbin dumped over the top rope. Berto then lands a dive with his head. We then go to the break. After the break, Corbin hits the end of days for the 1-2-3. Legado del Fantasma is eliminated. Their first team eliminated. The Street Profits are out next. We then go with Cruz and Ford doing flip attempts and invasions, which look very nice. We get Ford hitting Cruz with a back suplex, which the way Cruz landed, the way he landed on his head, which looked very scary. I'd be shocked if Apollo Crews doesn't have a concussion after this. But we look at this. We then get Dawkins and Cruz then trading flips, double clothesline floors both men. Corbin and Ford both tag in. Ford tries a springboard, but Corbin catches him with midair with a nasty right hand. Cruz then launches Corbin over the top rope with a double team aerial move, which looked very nice. Love that spot. And we then go to the break. Ford and Dawkins hit the relevation on Cruz for the pin. Hit the relevation on Cruz for the pin. That's that sky high and neck breaker tag team finisher of Angel Dawkins and Montez Ford of the Street Profits. They get the 3 count. Corbin and Cruz are eliminated. Corbin and Cruz have been teaming lately. They've actually make a good pairing. And I don't understand why they didn't go long the distance in this gauntlet. We got the Profits. I don't think the Profits needed it. In fact, I think Corbin and Cruz needed this more so than the Profits. But who am I, right? Who am I? We then get Pretty Deadly out next. We get Street Profits hitting the Doomsday Blockbuster for the win. Pretty Deadly's eliminated. Thanks for coming, Pretty Deadly. The OC's out next. We then get the OC eliminated. We get Dawkins rolling up Gallows for the 3 count. OC's eliminated. Then the Bloodline's out next. We end this. It's down to the Bloodline and the Street Profits. We get Fatu pinning Ford after a BME, the best moonsault ever. Picture perfect, beautiful moonsault from the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu. The Street Profits are out. The winners and new number one contenders are the Bloodline. They get DIY for that WWE Tag Team Championship on SmackDown next week. The SmackDown before SummerSlam in Cleveland for the tag titles. I don't think the Bloodline win the titles. I think Jimmy Uso gets involved and he costs the Bloodline Tag Team Championship because DIY just won them a month ago, and I can't see DIY losing those titles just 1 month after winning them. I just can't see it. But this tag team gauntlet, wasn't a fan. Usually this gauntlet, I wasn't a fan. I don't know what you guys think on it, but I mean, the Bloodline was the one team that I think a lot of people were going with to win this. Made sense because Jacob Fatu laid out DIY a couple weeks ago. So I think you see why now that happened a few weeks ago. But Bloodline win this. Again, Bloodline's not winning the titles next week. I doubt it. I'd be shocked if they do. I think Jimmy Uso returns next week and he screws the Bloodline. Cost them the titles. That's what I think. Gauntlet match was not a fan. We then go to Austin Theory and Grayson Waller rushing the ring, and they take over the show. They're in the ring, and they call out world champion boxer Terrence Crawford. And they say it's Crawford's fault that they lost to Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens last week. It says Crawford owes them an apology. Crawford then knocks out Austin Theory with a right hand. Waller then runs away. Moving on, I don't really care. We then go to a backstage. We then go to a taped segment where Cody Rhodes challenges Solo Sikoa to meet him face-to-face in the ring on SmackDown next week for the go-home show the night before SummerSlam on SmackDown in Cleveland. So that's another thing for SmackDown next week as well. So that was a decent tape segment, but we have that face-to-face next week with Cody and Solo. Moving on. And then we get to a backstage skit with Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. With Andrade saying one line, "You're not LeBron, you're more like Bronny Jr." And Carmelo and Andrade are facing each other again, apparently. I would do a best 4 out of 7 series with Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. I think that would be great. Because they had a banger match last week on SmackDown. Very, very good match with Andrade and Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown last week, where Andrade got the victory. So apparently they're facing each other again. I am down for that. So we then go to the main event of SmackDown last night. Women tag team women's match. Women's champion Bayley and Michin versus Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. We got Michin making her entrance, but Stratton and Jax attack her on the ramp, taking her out. Bayley makes the save with the kendo stick. Michin is out on the floor recuperating and recovering. Bayley starts the match by herself, which it looks like a handicap match. Bayley takes a beating. Michin then comes back and gets the tag. Jax pulls Michin off the apron and crushes her with a Samoan drop on the floor. Then in the confusion, Stratton then destroys Bayley with a basement double stomp. Bayley kicks out. We go to the break. Then after the break, Jax and Stratton are taking turns working over Bayley. We get like I said, Michin getting a hot tag. Tornado DDT onto Stratton. Suicide dive onto Nia Jax from Michin. Bayley tags in, catches Jax with a running knee to the head. Diving elbow from Bayley. Stratton breaks up the pinfall. Referee's distracted by Michin. Stratton then hits Bayley upside the head with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Jackson takes advantage and flattens Bayley with the Annihilator for the win. And women's champion Bayley loses a non-title match clean. Though I will say, I like they're protecting the Annihilator, Nia Jax finisher, but Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax win this match. I mean, don't really care. Adam Carl says hi. Hi, Adam. What's up? But yeah, Tiffany and Nia win. Meaningless main event. I can see why SmackDown's been very dull the past couple weeks. I feel like SmackDown right now is playing it safe at this point until we get out of until we get through SummerSlam. Because right now SmackDown, again, they're playing it safe. Not much story going on SmackDown. There's a lot more going on Raw. There's a lot more going on Raw than on SmackDown. I think that's why Raw's been better than SmackDown for a while now, and I can see why. And they're not wrong in feeling that way whatsoever. There's much more going on Raw. SmackDown, not much to sink your teeth into, and that's a problem. And even, I think, coming out of the draft, Raw obviously won the draft. When Raw has a stacked roster, that helps. When Raw has a stacked roster, that helps. When SmackDown has roster depth issues, that's a big issue, a big, big one. SmackDown last night, even though it was taped, I thought was a waste of time. If you missed SmackDown last night, you didn't miss a thing. Honestly. We then get an ending thing where Solo Sikoa is like, Roman Reigns, you have a problem, you know where to find me. So, with Roman Reigns coming back around SummerSlam, that should hopefully help with SmackDown. And then Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton feud, Roman Reigns feud with the Bloodline, Hikuleo coming in. We have Tiffany Stratton with the Money in the Bank. I would have her cash in and win the championship at SummerSlam in Cleveland. Tiffany Stratton. Charlotte's going to be back. I'd have her in a non-title program on SmackDown with Nia Jax, with no title involved. We got Naomi and Blair Davenport, Andrade Carmelo Hayes. I would do LA Knight, Santos Escobar coming out of SummerSlam over the U.S. title. I'm hoping SmackDown picks up coming out of SummerSlam, because right now there is nothing going on for them right now. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that is that, guys, for the video here, folks. Follow me on X, FioreNick579, Instagram, Nicholas Fiore 2014, TikTok at Fiore's Nation, Facebook, Nicholas Fiore 31. Hit the like on the video and subscribe to Fiore's Nation. Hit the bell for all notifications while you're at it. And I appreciate you guys joining me here for this Saturday morning / afternoon here for this video. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. And thank you for stopping by and joining me to watch the video. And hope you guys have a good rest of your Saturday today. I will see you next time here in the channel for more good videos here on the channel. Have a good rest of your Saturday, guys. Peace. And I'll talk to you guys later.